All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And I will have this recording on the website later in the week. And first, we have Tasha and Morgan. I'm not sure if she came in, if she's going to also be joining me, but they're here from United Way of Southeast Michigan to talk to us about 211. All right, Tasha, when you're ready.
And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I see you. Are you sharing? Because I don't see what you're sharing with us.
What, sharing? Let's see. I am sharing now. Can you see it
It,
now?
it's coming through. Give it a second. I think it's coming through. Here we go.
All right. So I'm here. My name is Tasha Ball. I'm the Director of 211 Operations and Strategies for United Way for Southeastern Michigan. In Southeast, I'll talk about the counties that we serve. So, what 211 is? 211 is a free and confidential service for information and referral, what we call INR, through United States and parts of Canada. We are a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation, and INR is essentially the art and science of bringing people and services together. So people will call us when they don't know where to go. And our staff, you may hear us called community care advocates, community service representatives. We help people find those services. And in 211 is normally health and human services. Anything related to health and human services. We do have some for-profit business, but not a lot. And if you're a for-profit agency, you have to do low or no low you have to do it at low cost or no cost. And when you talk to us, you're going to get that CCA. They're going to ask questions. So when they're asking those questions, that's better to assist to make sure that we're getting you to the right agency, the agency that's closest to you, and the agency that is able to assist your zip code. Anyone can call 211. Last year, we gave out over 300,000 referrals and we took over 150,000 calls. So people will call us, anybody can call us. That was text, chat, email, or phone. And in times of disasters, 211 is there. So we responded to over 15 disasters, the last one being the floods of Southeast. Year before last, we did the DTE freeze when uh, all the power went out. So we were able to do support DTE in getting gift cards out into the community. We've done hurricane support for Florida and the Carolinas. And our biggest one was the pandemic of in 2020 COVID-19. And we are still seeing effects of COVID-19 today. Hopefully my video will play and you can hear it. No matter what, no matter when.
I'm not sure what audio is coming through well.
So hopefully, were you able to hear my audio?
Not very well. I don't think it started, and then I don't think that, I don't know if others heard it. I did not hear it fully come through.
Okay, I will drop the link in the chat afterwards. It's just a small video just telling us we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what, no matter where. We are here to answer that call. And we are part of a statewide entity. We serve Southeast, which is Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Washtenaw, and parts of Lapeer. So Lapeer is going to be going to our partner in a thumb shortly, but for right now, we are still managing those resources in Lapeer. Our agents are accredited. 211 is part of the MPSC. So we have to, it's a designated number anybody can call. We do have a 10-digit calling number. Some cell phones we find will not connect to 211, or we have communities, especially in Washtenaw, that's part of Monroe and part of Southeast. So we do have a 10-digit call phone number. It's 1-800-552-1183. So if you can't reach us through that three-digit number, you can call our 10-digit number. We are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all throughout the state of Michigan. Our agents are nationally trained, and our center is certified and accredited by our accrediting body. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone. They can text us, chat us, and for those that are savvy, they can search the website themselves. So we find a lot of people just search on their own. And then we have our resource team. So our resource team is small but mighty. It's a team of 5. So they have their own county where they're a liaison. I know some of them used to come to these meetings. So that's the person you will reach out to if you want to get into our database. If you're in our database and we want to make sure that that information is accurate and up to date, you will reach out to our resource team. Locally, United Way for Southeastern Michigan, we hold about 8,500 programs, 1,300 agencies, and 2,600 sites. So the resource team, when they're going out, they're trying to close that gap in services. So they're looking to expand that database with new services. So if anyone's on this call and would like to reach out and be on a part of our database, we do get a lot of calls, so I know smaller grassroots don't like to be into our database, but we do have a wiki, like when you turn it on and turn it off. Say, for instance, if you have a program that's coming up, we can put you on that information. It won't go in a database, so it won't go out widely. But if it's just for your community and it's a small program, we can put it on our wiki. So our resource team, they do database training, which I say people search on their own. So they'll come out and show agencies how to search. So when they have clients, they can search the database on their own and don't have to call 211. So they'll go out and do that training. They like to do a lot of collaborating, like barrier busters, listservs, and things like that. So they are also a part of that team as well. And then we have a lot of local partnerships within our 211. You're going to hear from Megan about the VITA program, tax scheduling. That's what we're into now. So we're in the thick of tax scheduling. She'll go into that a little later. Then we have social navigation. So in 211, it's a tier step project. So tier 1 is regular 211, anonymous. Tier 2 is a little hand holding people that needs a little more help. And then we have the tier 3, which is full on social navigation. It's like light casework, but you have to be referred into that. Then we partner with our MEEC department or our utilities department for utility services, lights, gas, propane, and water. So we do have the RAP programs in parts of Washtenaw County. And then we do SNAP. We do a pre-screening for SNAP eligibility. So we'll ask the client if they have SNAP benefits. If they don't have SNAP benefits, we'll ask set questions by the state to see if that person may be eligible for SNAP benefits. So based on the answers, we can say if they may be eligible. Then we partner with AARP for caregivers. We give out that information for those that's taking care of friends and family. So some people may not think you're a caregiver, but if you're looking out for your neighbor, helping support that neighbor, you may be considered a caregiver. And then we partner with a lot of other local projects and statewide projects as well. And of course, in the role of disasters, like earlier I talked about, we responded to 15 disasters, with the pandemic being the biggest one. And our role in 211 is just to activate a plan so callers won't overload the municipalities. And by having 211, it's one single number you remember. Our database team is out there making sure that our resources is up to date, because in a disaster, resources change fast. They'll come up one minute and go down the next. So having 211 just in that row, instead of trying to call that municipality and maybe not getting an answer, we're there to answer that call with that easy 3-digit dialing number. And that's it. Any questions for me? Stop sharing. Give me 1 second.
It looks like our Washtenaw County Resource Specialist put Muriel, is that right? She put her email address in the chat, email address. So if you're an agency and you need to adjust, I do see some hands up.
All right. I see Sheila.
Yes. Yes. Can you, two things. One, could you repeat the 1-800 number again if somebody can't get through from just dialing 211? And then also, I know you had mentioned that you all would come out to, I guess, train how service participants can utilize the database. How will we go about trying to set that up? Just call you all, or how does that work?
So first, I'll give you the 10-digit dialing number. It's 1-800-552-1183. That's 1-800-552-1183. And how
Thank
do
you.
you go about getting I can give you the requesting a database training.
Yes.
I'll drop that email into the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
And Muriel, I will forward your information to the database team to update the information. And you have a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna like kind of hop on there, just kind of piggyback
Oh,
off of
okay.
that. Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm the resource specialist for the resource team for United Way. So if anyone ever needs to make any updates to the database or has any questions about making edits to the portal, or if you ever need to update your services, or if there is or hourly changes or staffing changes that you need to make in your listing in the portal, you can definitely email me. I dropped my email into the chat already. I believe that some people that might be in this meeting are actually due for their annual reviews this quarter. So if you get any emails from United Way, but you're not sure what they're regarding, you can just reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you through that process, because we want to make sure that all of our listings in our resource portal are as accurate and up to date as possible, because that makes it easier for the public and it makes it easier for our for everyone that's working at the call center, because they want to make sure that they're giving out the most accurate information as possible.
And Sheila Muriel is the person you would talk to about getting that database training.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I have her email. Thank you.
Yep.
I'd like to also, if I can, and then if I'm wrong, Tasha, you stop and correct me. But I just kind of want everybody to know this as a resource. I will often go into the 211 website, and if you go in there, they have a dashboard that they have excellent like reporting and like a dashboard that you can select Washtenaw County and you could kind of check the area and if I remember right, it will show you like how many requests or how many like referrals were made for utilities. And I can't remember, but it has like all these different data points that I think is really useful when you're just kind of looking at what's going on. So they have that great dashboard of different information. So I would highly recommend checking it out. Am I right, Tasha, that that's still there and accessible to us all?
And it drills down to zip code as well. And I'll drop the link in there. So I'm going to be dropping 2 links for you.
We've used that dashboard of information to help us just report and get a feel for what's going on in the community, to see where we're at, to see what the need is like out there.
And when you go to our dashboard, you want to make sure you scroll down and it'll populate.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's almost clear to the bottom of that website, right? In the first.
Correct.
So keep looking, it's there. It's just, I think down, at the bottom. But it's a wealth of information. And so however your program works, and if you're looking to see what the needs are out there, I think it's a good resource to check.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being here. I think we often, well, in the seat of barrier busters, I hear often will say when I get calls, check in with, United Way's 211 call. So I know that it is one of our references for people to access our agency information. So thank you for being here and telling us all about it. This is great. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have from United Way of Southeast Michigan, the VITA program. So Victor and Megan, thank you for last minute getting logged into our meeting. And if you want to go ahead and share your screen with us when you're ready. Actually, let me go back and ask you, do you want me to run your slides or would you like to share your screen and run your slides?
We can do it. And I have got this pulled up here. So just give me a hot second. And thank you, everybody, for having us. We're very excited to be here. So as I get the slides pulled up, we'll go ahead and introduce the team. I'm Megan Tarbus. I'm Director of Community Impact Innovation here at United Way for Southeastern Michigan. We are excited to talk to you today about the resources available during tax season and how you can support your clients, residents, anyone that you come in contact with in the community to access these resources and claim their cash. So Victor, you want to say hello?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm Victor Martinez. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist here for the Tax Coalition. Um, Also with us today is Natasha Murray, our Associate Director. If you want to say hi, Natasha.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Natasha Murray, Associate Director of Economic Mobility Initiatives, and glad to be here with everyone today.
All right, so here's our agenda. We've just covered our welcome and introductions. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes about why this work matters and the service experience that folks can expect. I'm going to turn it over to Natasha, who's going to talk about some of those key tax credits for low-income individuals, and who's missing out. And then Victor will close us out with how folks like you can help us in this work, and how your clients can benefit, or your residents, your constituents, whomever it may be that comes in that you come into contact with, how you can help and let them benefit from this work. So the top line message, if you take nothing away from the next 15 minutes, is that there are thousands of dollars available to low-income workers and families by filing taxes. There is expert help available at no cost to file those taxes and claim those dollars. We need your help to spread the word. And there's more information about everything we're going to talk about today, as well as an online scheduling portal available at getthetextfacts.org, or by calling 211. So we are excited to bring this resource in a bigger and better way to Washtenaw County, and to have your help in spreading the word to have more folks take advantage of it. Um, so why is this so important? Because there's millions of dollars literally on the table for low-income families. So we at United Way lead a collective effort to ensure that as many families as possible in our region are able to access every single dollar that is available to them through the tax system. So the state and federal tax codes is the single biggest source of cash benefits for low to moderate income families in the form of the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. Together, those provide thousands of dollars per family, as well as other tax credits, some smaller tax credits, such as the home heating credit and the homestead property tax credit. Those are Michigan state credits. But these add up to thousands of dollars per family in unrestricted flexible cash. And as I'm sure you all know, being members of this gathering, it's hard to find unrestricted flexible cash. Many of the resources that you all discuss at this gathering are highly restricted with restrictive application criteria, then dollars that can only be spent on a certain thing. The amazing thing about tax credits is that those are completely flexible and can be spent on whatever that family needs most. They are in charge of how they use those dollars. So many folks use it to catch up on overdue bills, to top up, maybe start an emergency savings, to make some overdue car repairs, to buy a car, to put money towards sort of a larger purchase, or just to make investments in those everyday needs that families need, whether that's groceries or rent or school supplies or new shoes, new snow boots, especially this time of year for those little ones that are growing fast. So we know that the folks in our community really need those dollars. The problem is that folks have to file taxes in order to claim these benefits. And the research consistently shows that about 20% of households do not file taxes. And so they're leaving tens of millions of dollars on the table. So our goal at United Way is to reach those folks who are not currently filing their taxes and support them to file their taxes so they can claim those dollars. We work with Accounting Aid Society here in Washtenaw County. Accounting Aid Society is an IRS certified nonprofit tax preparer. They've been doing this work for over 50 years, primarily in the sort of Detroit Tri-County area. And we partnered with them last year to bring their expertise to Washtenaw as our operational partner. So in 2025, we served more than 1,350 clients in Washtenaw. That was an increase of about 60% as compared to what we were able to do in 2024. And that work resulted in over $2.3 million in tax refunds for the folks in Washtenaw County. And, that money gets recycled into the local economy as well. So there are big dollars at stake. There is expert no-cost tax assistance available, so we need your help to ensure that as many people as possible can claim those dollars. So how does it work? It's relatively straightforward. We offer as I said earlier, an online scheduling portal. So you can schedule an appointment online at getthetextfacts.org or you can call 211 to schedule. And you all as partners can actually help people schedule that appointment. If you've got someone in your office, you just go online, schedule that appointment in like 3 minutes, and you're done. And now that client has a appointment. Or if you're talking to someone on the phone, you can help them schedule an appointment over the phone. So just getting someone in the door is a huge way that you all can help us with this work. That individual then is going to need to gather their documents, their W-2s, their 1099s, any other relevant documents. They will then meet with a trusted tax expert from Accounting Aid Society, primarily in person, although there are other options. And then Accounting Aid Society will file their taxes for them, and they will get their payments either ideally by a direct deposit refund to the bank account or also by paper check if need be. So the eligibility criteria for this service is income less than $69,000 in 2025. So that would be an individual income if the person in question is not legally married, or a joint income if they are legally married. Um, so it's a really great service. It actually has a higher accuracy rate but than most for-profit providers. So we really want more folks to take advantage of this work. Again, we're in year 2 now of our service expansion in Washtenaw County. Last year, we expanded services. So United Way for Southeastern Michigan, formerly United Way for Washtenaw County, has been doing this work for many years, hosted out of our Ann Arbor office. Historically, it's been a few days a week. Last year, we expanded to 5 days a week. So we're now open Tuesday through Saturday, with late hours on Thursday evenings. And we did a lot of really great work last year. We want to do even more really great work this year. There's opportunities to, particularly if your organization has a location, particularly outside of Ann Arbor. We're really interested in doing a pop-up, an off-site pop-up at your location. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in becoming a Scan and Go partner, that would be where your organization would actually do some intakes and some scanning of documents on your own. We have some great partners at the Manchester Community Resource Center that do that currently. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved. I mean, the number one way is just letting folks know and signing your clients up. And we'll talk more about ways to get involved further on. But I'm going to now turn it over to Natasha. Well, I guess actually I'll pause and see if there's any questions so far. All right, I'll turn it over to Natasha to talk more about some of the tax credits.
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about two tax credits that our community and families can really benefit from. One is the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is up to it can be up to $10,000. And like I said, this is extra cash for these working families and individuals. And the federal and state eligibility is you had to have worked in 2025 to be eligible. And then, like I said, this provides this extra money to workers with income of up to 69,000. Income limits and credit amounts vary based on your filing status, earnings, the number of children that you may have or that qualify. And childless individuals also qualify. So, but adults and children, they must have a Social Security number. And for 2026, the Michigan EITC, has increased 5 times over the year. So, for example, like last year, Michigan EITC increased to 30% of the federal credit, which was from 6%. So there's been a huge increase in this credit. And so to be able to really benefit, to take advantage of this tax credit, we have to have families and individuals file their taxes in 2026. And this is automatically a credit that they would automatically get from filing their taxes. So this is an example of our 2026 EITC eligibility table. This is something that you can use when you are working with clients. You can refer them to this just to kind of get an idea of what they may be eligible for. This is on our website as well. And so what it is it talks about like if you have like qualifying children, if you're single or head of the household or married or if you're filing jointly, how much of a tax credit you could receive. And so, for example, say you have one child, you have someone that has one child and they are filing single or head of household and they make around $50,000 a year, they could be eligible for a maximum tax credit of around $5,626. So, this is a really good tool to use just to get an idea of what clients may be eligible for. And this is on our website, and we will show this later how you can access that. Another tax credit is the child tax credit, which could be range from $1,700 to $2,200 per child. This is really that extra cash for families with children. Children have to be under the age of 17 and living in the home. But they do not need to be the child's biological parent. So if you are the primary caregiver or someone is the primary giver, meaning the child stays mostly with that person, they are likely eligible. You must have earned at least $2,500 from working in 2025. And then again, the parents and the children must have a valid Social Security number. And then something that's new for 2026 is lower taxes on tips and overtime. And so you may have heard of this in the news that there is larger refunds for individuals who earn tips or overtime, but just wanted to really explain this rule because it's not as simple as it sounds. For tips, if you have someone that you're working with who their employer requires a certain tip amount, say they're at a restaurant and there's a gratuity for like a party of six or more, that income can still be taxed. So for tips, it's only tips that are truly the customer's choice that are tax free. So if a customer decides that they want to leave a tip, there's no like, you have to leave this tip, then that amount would be tax free. And then for overtime, base pay for overtime hours, people who work overtime is still taxed. It's only the bonus portion of the overtime that is that hourly rate that is tax free. So for example, say Alex earns $20 an hour and gets a time and a half for overtime. Alex still pays taxes on that base pay of that $20 per hour for that overtime that Alex may have worked, but only that $10 portion, that bonus portion would be tax free. And so this is one of the new rules that is implemented this year. Maybe some of the neighborhood tax preparers may not know about this, but our IRS certified tax experts are well aware and would be able to assist individuals who work and have, they may work a lot of overtime or work a job where they have tips. So who is at risk of missing out? We've kind of identified like who are these people and who we really want to take extra time just to try to reach these people. And so one is new families. So first-time parents, they may not realize that they are eligible for these tax credits, and so they may not be filing, and so they're a group that are missing out. Those non-traditional families, grandparents, aunts, uncles, foster parents, they may be missing out. They will be, they could be missing out on that child tax credit because they may think that they're not eligible for that. But if they do have a child that is living with them most of the time, they would be eligible to take advantage of that credit. Also, families who don't typically or always file taxes, which could be, very low income, informal, maybe irregular. They may work informal, irregular, or hourly work. And they may also have like a mix of disability and social security income and have some paid work. And so they may feel like they are not eligible to apply, to file taxes, or, they may not want to deal with, going through the process, but they are really missing out on these tax credits and the opportunity to take advantage of those. And then also families with limited English, limited education, and or limited connections to social services. They may not know about the credits. They may find taxes intimidating. A lot of people do, mostly everyone does, like every year when we have to file taxes, they may find it intimidating. But this population, this may be an extra intimidation for them, and they may not realize that there is help that is available, and it's help that's available at no cost to them. So now I will pass it over to my colleague Victor, who is going to talk about how you can help to spread the word.
Thanks, Natasha. So, just to reiterate before we continue, there are thousands of dollars available to low-income workers and families by filing taxes. Expert help is available at no cost. We need your help to spread the word, and there's more information and online scheduling at getthetextfacts.org or by calling 211. So, how can you get help? How can you get involved? So, as we said, we need your help to spread the word. And what does that look like? So we've identified a couple of things, and if your organization has any particular thing that it does that is not listed on here that you think would plug in nicely, please feel free to speak up. But what we've identified as avenues is texting or emailing your contact list, including regular reminders in newsletters, displaying printed flyers, talking to residents. With regards to printed flyers, contact lists, regular reminders, we have lots of material printed out that we can come through and deliver to you. You don't have to print anything. We also have um, all of our language and digital flyers and material for our newsletters on our website in our toolkit, which show you how to teach you how to access momentarily. But you can also email me for that information, and I'm happy to provide it to you. And that email will be forthcoming as well. I'll say it quickly and then it'll be repeated, but it's taxes@unitedwaysem.org. Um, Other things you can do are train staff, volunteers, canvassers, etc. If your organization does canvassing, happy to drop off a big stack of flyers, and if those can go out with canvassers, we have organizations that help us do that. Um, if you're having any events, I can come out and table at an event and tell your clients and your community about how to access no-cost tax filing. I know so much about getting access to no-cost tax filing. I can come out. If you need me to bring my own table, I can bring my own table. And I love doing it. It's so much fun, and I'm happy to do it. And then finally, we need pop-up clinics. If you have a location, a brick and mortar location that is, I mean, anywhere in Washington, but particularly we're looking for outside of Ann Arbor right now, please let us know if you're up to host a pop-up. And then again, your creative idea here. If your organization does something that I haven't even thought about, and you're like, this plugs in great to what you guys are doing, let me know. Next slide, please. This is a version of our flyer. The one that you're going to be receiving is a little bit different, but this is a good idea of what the flyer looks like. Next slide, please. And so our website's getthetextfacts.org, as I've said. To access our toolkit that has our digital flyer, our language for newsletters, text message copy, email copy, please go to getthetextfacts.org-toolkit or email me at taxes@unitedwaysem.org, and I'm happy to provide you with exactly what you need. And again, my name is Victor Martinez, and thank you for being here and listening. And I hope to hear from all of you about how best you can get involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Um,
all for that.
I'm also just going to do a real quick demo of our website so that you all can see how useful it is. So we're going to go to getthetextfacts.org. This is our public-facing website. There's lots of great information on here. We've got FAQs about eligibility criteria, so that earned income tax credit qualification chart is here, information about the new Michigan EITC, which Natasha mentioned is much more lucrative than it was before. We've got information about the child tax credit on here. We've got all kinds of FAQs of various descriptions, sort of about like why it's important to file. And what the benefits are available, some questions around children and dependents, if you had a new child, if you think someone else might claim your child, if you need help about your documents. This new information about taxes on tips and overtime is on our website. So lots of great FAQs, also specific information around what that process is of how to file, why you should file, the benefits of filing taxes. The whole site is available in English and Spanish, so that is accessible. And throughout, there's many buttons that say schedule now. Schedule now up here, schedule now here, schedule now here. So this is our online scheduling tool. I'll do a little quick demo of that. So here we repeat our participation requirements. Folks have to make less than $69,000. They do need to have a driver's license or picture ID in their possession. They do need to have a social security card or ITIN. ITIN stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, and they need to live in our four-county service area. Little explanation about the terms of this service. And then how did you hear about us? You click Get Started. The first thing it's going to do is ask for your zip code. I'm going to put in a Washtenaw County zip code. It's asked if you have an email address and internet access. That's a little kind of more from COVID era. But these days, most of our appointments are in person, although again, there are other options to be able to scan your documents. It's kind of easiest to just choose show all appointment types, and then it's going to search the tool. And the tool is going to come up with the location that is closest to that zip code that you input. And so you can see here's our United Way office in Ann Arbor. We also have appointments available at EMU on Saturdays. So two options in Washtenaw County. You can just choose whichever appointment time works best for you. If you want to schedule a little bit further out, if you're too busy this week, you can go up here and click next 7 days, and that will take you to the following week. You can continue to click next 7 days as much as you want to see the availability in the following week. Again, we've got lots more appointments here, a few more options for that IPSI option at EMU. So we're just going to go ahead and choose a time here. There's a pop-up. Unfortunately, you sometimes have to look for the pop-up. We're working on getting that bug fixed, but it's going to repeat your selection, what time it is, where it is. You click choose this appointment, and then it's going to give you your appointment booking form. You've got 5 minutes to fill out this form. It just asks for your name email address, phone number, and then the last four digits of the Social Security number. That is for Accounting Aid Society's client record system. We at United Way do not keep that information, but that's just necessary so that Accounting Aid can keep people separate in their system. So I'm not going to fill this out right now because I don't want to schedule an appointment that I'm not planning to use, but you can see it's very simple. It just takes a couple minutes to set up an appointment. So we hope that you will help everyone you know, tell everyone you know, and help as many people as you can to make appointments and take advantage of this service. Any questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Go for it.
Okay, I wanted to find out. So if somebody has not filed in like 3 years, could you all still see them?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
So right now, from now through April 15th during Maine tax season, we're focused on filing this year's taxes, just so that we can help as many people as possible. If someone hasn't filed in several years, they can file for this year right now,
okay,
make an appointment, and then we are actually open year round. It's not every single day year round, but come May, we'll be open at least one day a week, also in our Ann Arbor location. And during that, what we call the post season, so from May until November, we are open to do up to 3 years of back
oh,
taxes. And there may be and it's only up to 3 years just because that's kind of the statute of limitations with the IRS. But yeah, folks can claim up to 3 years of back benefits over the summer. But first step is just to get in the door and do your current year taxes right now, and
okay,
then come back and make a second appointment in sometime over the summer and get those back taxes done.
okay. And then one more quick question. If somebody just received Social Security, can they file?
They sure can,
Okay,
and they are likely eligible for some of those Michigan state tax credits
okay.
that I mentioned.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I have a quick question. Hopefully it's just
Sure.
this one. What if somebody doesn't have an income? Does it still benefit an adult who doesn't have an income, or who didn't
They
have an
have
income for all of 2025? Still
If they
benefit?
have absolutely no income, um, meaning they are entirely dependent on someone else for their livelihood,
Mhm.
in that case, I don't think there's probably much of benefit to filing
Okay.
taxes. If you have, I mean, I guess you might still be eligible for those state tax credits. You have to prove expenses to qualify for those state tax credits. So you have to prove that you have paid for either heating costs to heat a home um, or rent or property taxes. And so if you come in and you say, I truly have no income whatsoever from any source, then that kind of raises some questions about, so with what money did you pay for these expenses,
As soon as you're saying
right?
it, that's what's coming to my head. Like, well, and
Um,
how did they pay? Okay, I
right,
was
right,
just
right.
curious. Yep.
But yeah, and again, the earned income tax credit is essentially the amount you get depends on the income and the number of children. And again, childless individuals do qualify. That's one of the big myths about the earned income tax credit is you do not have to have children to qualify. That kicks in at $10 of income. That child tax credit kicks in at $2,500 of earned income. So, in addition to telling everyone you know to sign up and file their taxes this year, it's also for anybody who's engaged in any type of, coaching or support of folks who are, struggling economically, which I'm sure most of the folks on this call are. It's an opportunity to encourage folks who may be living on disability, who may be kind of on again, off again work, who may be in that space of I don't want to work because I'm afraid I'm going to mess up my benefits. If you work just a little bit, like if you just can cross that $2,500 threshold in income, that opens up a lot of tax credits that can be really valuable for folks. So there's also an opportunity to have those conversations about, hey, you missed out this year. This coming year, if you can manage to earn at least $2,500 in work, throughout 2025, then particularly if there's children in your life, then you could be eligible for some significant tax credits. And I know a lot of folks, they maybe work under the table, so they do have money. It's just not documented money. There are trade-offs to that, right? And if that money is documented, then again, there's this opportunity to claim these tax credits. Other questions?
Okay. Hearing no questions, and I don't see, you know what, I just noticed that on the list of participants, I can see when somebody raises their hand. I had never noticed that. So I don't see anybody raising their hand for a question. I want to thank you all for this presentation. It was really great, super thorough. I learned so much, and I'm sure everyone else did. And yeah, my guess is you'll hear from our community via all of us.
Thanks
So
so much for having us.
yeah, and I know that you posted your contact information, right? And told us just where to go. So if we have any questions later on, we can reach you. And that flyer that I think Victor mentioned, make sure that, did I get a copy of that flyer? To post it on our listserv. Let's also make sure I will include it all in my messaging in the next day or two. But feel free to post that flyer, this month, again, next month, just so we always have this in our head, on the
Yeah,
list.
we'll get that flyer over to you ASAP. Thank you very much.
And one thing I just forgot to mention, so Victor mentioned that we really would love folks to include us in or include this opportunity in any type of newsletter you might have, in your social media, texting and emailing your contact list. So I'm just going to go to our toolkit here really quick. So get the taxfacts.org/toolkit and just highlight that in our toolkit, um, we have we have a flyer here already. This flyer is not specific to Washtenaw. It is completely accurate. It just doesn't say Washtenaw at the top of it. So we're working on a Washtenaw branded flyer, which we'll have done in the next day or two, and that Victor is very happy to bring to you printed copies. So if you want printed copies, email Victor. He will be at your doorstep. Delighted to deliver you hot off the press copies. But what we also have here is suggested language for text message, email, and social. So that's available on our toolkit website. And so that has all kinds of suggested language around. We've got text messages. We've got translations in Spanish. We've got slightly longer newsletter messages. We've got email messages. We've got a handful of social media messages. So we're trying to make this as easy as possible for you all to spread the word. Because right now we have more appointments than we have people coming in the door because we've expanded capacity so much in Washtenaw County. So please, we need your help to fill those appointments.
Thank you. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and move us to our next guest. Janet, are you on the call? I think I let you in a little bit ago. We have Janet Hungo from Housing Bureau for Seniors, and she's going to also talk to us about Housing Bureau for Seniors tax access.
Yes.
So go ahead, Janet. I did not get a slide deck from you.
Oh,
Are
I
you
didn't know I was supposed to get, I have one to
That's
share.
okay.
Do I have
Yep,
permission?
that's okay. You may
Okay.
share.
Okay, I'm gonna get started then. Thank you very much. And I'm really glad to hear from the United Way folks. We partnered with them last year. We can't this year. We're a little short-staffed, but they do great work, and we usually give our overflow folks on our overflow list their information so they can schedule as well. So I'm going to talk today about Housing Bureau for Seniors and our tax program. A lot of things are similar. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail on the stuff you've already heard. There's some subtle differences in what we do, which I'll go over. But before I do that, I'm going to talk just a little bit about HBS, and then how the tax prep works for the Housing Bureau for Seniors, and then a lot of the similar information that you just learned from about the free tax programs that we offer. So it's important to recognize and understand that the Housing Bureau for Seniors is a program of the Community Health Services, which is a program of University of Michigan Health System. I like to identify this slide and show folks in the community. You probably, I'm going to guess, I think I saw 38 folks on this Barrier Busters meeting, maybe more, maybe less. If you can see the list of I'm going to call them agencies, or we can call them departments under Community Health Services. I'm going to guess that you've worked with one or more of them. So I'd just like to highlight that to recognize that the Community Health Services is the outward-facing portion, so to speak, of the health system. And then I also like to highlight that one of the things that I'm especially proud of is that one of our key initiatives is protecting the health and quality of life of our seniors. And being the Housing Bureau for Seniors, I think that's a nice, an important feature. So our mission, a lot of you know of already, but if you don't, we inform and empower older adults and those who care about them with the guidance and resources regarding sustainable housing in Washtenaw County and beyond. So we have a very small team. We are a team of 6, and we get the work done. So I know that I heard a few numbers floating around from the United Way. I'm going to give you an idea of what the volume that we're working with as well for tax credits or income tax filings. So tax there's the Housing Bureau for Seniors. We work I have a couple different programming sectors. One of them is eviction prevention. Another one's foreclosure prevention. We do housing counseling. We also do a robust information and referral service. Our tax program is couched under the foreclosure prevention program. And the reason that is we, similar to the reasons that the United Way just gave, there's certain Michigan tax credits that folks can benefit from, being the homestead credit and the home heating credit. In terms of older adults, it's rare that we use for the earned income or the tax credits for the kids. So we take this as an opportunity to review folks and see if they are eligible for these returns, and see if they can get extra funding through the Michigan State tax returns. So I'm saying tax returns, it's not a tax return, it's actually just a credit. So some folks aren't necessarily required to file a formal return to get this credit. So so that's why it falls under there as we work with it, because a lot of times folks will let me back up again for a second. A lot of times folks will take their tax return, apply it towards their property taxes to help them pay that for the year, and then it kind of creates a situation where they're able to stay sustained in their house. So that's the foreclosure prevention piece. So I think you probably already heard these things, but I'll just run by them quickly. A person who doesn't necessarily have to file a income tax return can file for Michigan state credits, and a lot of times they're for the older folks that we work with. I'm going to pause for a minute and back up just a touch. The United Way and I'm pretty sure the program that they're running through is called VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, which is a IRS designation. HBS, Housing Bureau for Seniors, we do something very, very similar, but ours is called and considered the tax credit for the elderlies. And that's where the subtleties come in. There is there's very subtle differences in what the criteria is for what a person who can come to these programs. I believe the VITA program has an income limit. The tax credits for the elderly does not. There's certain scope that the TCE won't be able to cover. And so there's just real different subtleties there that could make a difference in who you're working with. But for the example that we're giving for the homestead credit and the property tax credit, a person, the income limit is $71,500. They have to have the home value cannot be higher than 165.4, and that could potentially bring them a refund of about $1,700. I heard it mentioned too that you can go 3 years back, which I agree with, and I understand it to be you can go the current year plus 3 years back. So depending on, if we're in the current year early in 26 and we're filing for 25 before the end of the season, which is April 15th, I believe you can go back 3 more years beyond that. I've seen that in the past where a person has gotten up to 4 years of their homestead credits. And that's homestead credits only. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a whole different ballgame if they are behind on their actual filing for the taxes, if that makes any sense. Renters can qualify as well. There's a proration that is put into effect in terms so they can get a small amount for the homestead credit. And then people with non-taxable income can also qualify.
Hey, Janet,
So, yeah.
did you have slides that you wanted to share with us?
Oh, am I not? Oh, thank you for that. It didn't take.
speaking very
I've been
clearly, like
talking
I
this whole
didn't.
time.
No, it's okay. Didn't
Okay.
feel like I was missing anything. I
Yeah.
was really
All right.
following, but
All right,
just
well,
in
hang on
case.
one second. Let me get, yep. I thought I hit the share button. Let me stop this 1 second. I thought I hit that because I was sharing it there. All right, let's do this again. So I was halfway through too, so you get to hear the whole thing all over again. I'm kidding. Where am I? Let's see. Where's the share button? Jasmine's laughing at me. Okay. I don't have a share
The
button. Oh,
toolbar.
there it is. I got you. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's go to. I gotta find the right one. Show my screen. That. And then.
Now we see it.
Yeah, now you see everything, including, hang on, that's not gonna work. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to just keep going without that. So give me a second here. Let's go back there. Let me look at my slides. Because I mean, it's words and you're hearing the words, a lot of it you heard already. So we're just gonna roll with it. So, but future, if I do this again, tell me in like the second slide and not like the 10th. So, as I said before, the subtle differences between the tax aid through excuse me, through VITA and for TCE, the differences are subtle in what and how a person can apply and who is eligible. We partner with the AARP Foundation, and they provide the tax volunteers that do a training through the IRS for the TCE credits. We do them by appointments only, and we, unlike the United Way, can do 2 days a week. We do Wednesdays and Fridays. This is actually an expansion on our part. For the longest time, we did Fridays only, and then we brought it on, started to kind of dip our toe in the water of doing Wednesdays, and then now we're doing full Wednesdays and full Fridays for the entire tax season. So a week from today, Wednesday the 4th, is the day that we start at our first location, which is in Ann Arbor at the KMS building. Excuse me. There is no age or income limit for this particular program. And then they can, like as I said before, they can do returns for the current year plus 3 years back. And we can only, unfortunately, we can only do them through the tax season only. And this is where I'm really grateful for the United Way because we do get calls a year round and we don't have the resources to be able to do the returns off season. So I'm really happy that the United Way has that service and take advantage of it if you can. So as probably was already talked about too, because it's VITA and because it's tax credits for the elderly, the volunteers have to be trained through the IRS, through a portal, and they have to go through very, very, very rigorous training. They have to make sure that they are up to speed in what they can do. Each return takes about an hour to 2 hours to complete, depending what they have. Another thing that I heard mentioned was the um, doing multiple returns for a year. And I heard the United Way, they focus on the current year. We do a little bit differently. If somebody is going back a couple of years to the 3 years, we can do them at the same time, but we schedule consecutive appointments for a current day, any given day. So if they need the last 3 years and they're coming in next week, we'll give them 3 consecutive appointments and they'll probably be there the entire day, but we try and bang them out. I am saying we, and I really mean the volunteers through the AARP Foundation. Housing Bureau for Seniors doesn't do any of the returns at all. We facilitate the scheduling and we help assist in an administrative capacity. So I think a lot of this you've already heard too. Property tax credits for property tax credit assistance. This speaks to the fact if somebody doesn't have to necessarily file a return. So if somebody's on Social Security only, I heard that example brought up earlier. If someone's on Social Security only, technically they don't have to file for federal or state returns. However, this is where the homestead credit property tax comes in, and then the home heating credits. And as we already established and what we talked about already, a person could just potentially get $1,700 a year for homesteads, and home heating is dependent on their income, and it's generally for lower income folks. So as I said, we only do them on Wednesdays and Fridays from February until April. I am gonna try and I stammered there again because I want to put this one slide up if I can, because it shows the contact information, and then I will open it up for questions after that wonderful presentation. All right, give me one more second, and I think that's it there, and that's that. And let's go to current slide. Yeah, don't look at my PTO schedule. Okay. All right. So, summary. So, as I said, AARP Foundation, we do full tax returns, federal and state. There's no income limit, there's no age limit. It is, even though it's the AARP and we're the Housing Bureau for Seniors, anyone, any age can come visit us and make an appointment. It is by appointment only. If they call the number on the screen, we have folks that are very dedicated and are very good at scheduling these appointments. Next week, I was just in a meeting that I had to leave to do this with the AARP volunteers, and I think we said we have 43 out of 44 appointments scheduled for next Wednesday. So we're doing about between 40 and 50 appointments on Wednesdays and Fridays. So that's that. We've already fielded about 461 calls. And I give you those numbers because if you saw my slides earlier, I gave you kind of an idea of our org chart and how, we're a pretty small team. These are being fielded by our administrative assistant, Arissa, who is rocking it. She's taken in a lot of calls and handling a lot of things along with the work study students. So, yeah, I think that's it. Wednesdays at KMS, Fridays at Turner Senior Resource Center. And I'm gonna open up for questions, and if any of that made any sense, apologize you didn't have slides. Such is life, right?
Yeah, and so send me the slides and then I'll include them too with when I send out to the listserv so everybody can see them there as well.
Okay.
And then
Yep.
I will have them posted with the recording of this session on our Barry Buster website.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely.
Oh, great. It's being recorded too. That's wonderful. Yeah. Any questions from anybody?
All right. Well, thank you, Janet, for
Okay.
coming in.
Thank you.
I was following you and tracking you. I think it went really well. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I want to go ahead and give this opportunity for anyone who wants to kind of just shout out what's going on in their program and take a couple of minutes, and we'll do that. And then after that, I will give a brief update on what our Barry Buster funding looks like. So go ahead and unmute. Maybe go ahead and raise your hand too if you want to figure out who wants to say what. All right, I'm not hearing anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead and then start my session on the Barry Buster update. And then if anyone wants to jump in with their own update, just let me know. Let me share. All right, this is what we got. So a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, I don't even remember now, I sent out a Barry Buster update on funding, a funding update. And this is what I sent. This is also what I posted on the website, which on our website I will update as this changes. But I just wanted to talk about this real quick because I also realized that I have kind of changed the format of how I am expressing how much money we have. So I just wanted to explain that. So right now, in general, hopefully all of you do know our Barry Buster funding and how we get allocations from the Washtenaw County each year. And I take that fund and it gets split between, right now, let's say it's approximately 200,000. That's not the exact number, but it's about 200,000. And I take that number and I divide it up among the 12 months, and I then separate it into our flexible fund, which you'll see here, the Washtenaw County Flexible General Fund, and then it gets split and the other half goes to housing. And so so that's what we're going to be running off of for each month. So when we're talking about that flexible fund, each month will be approximately 12,900. What you may not be seeing here are some of our municipality funds are not renewing this year, simply due lack of funding available. So you'll see some of that's missing off of this list, but you do see that I have Pittsfield. There's just some remaining Pittsfield funds from 2025 that are just rolling into right now. I suspect these funds will be depleted in the next few weeks, but I just wanted to put them out there. If you have a client that can use the resource of the Pittsfield Township, who's a resident, who can use this as a funding source. What I've done is I've separated out our flexible and our housing. And so I have not put an actual amount for our housing. Right now, our housing fund, as you know, the process is kind of that one stop, that funneling to and through the Hawk call center. And then from there, when clients are, this is for housing, for all the housing requests. Once they're qualifying through that Hawk intake, they then go and get scheduled with SOS housing team. I call them the housing team, but I think they have a different technical name. So then that goes, and it is that group of people that have access to access the housing funds. And right now we have the Board of Commissioners who have prioritized our housing initiative for eviction and security deposits. Right now, for starting, they have a winter response fund that they gave us that started November and will probably deplete around March, April. And right now, so we do have housing funds. They gave us, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's about 500,000, maybe a little less, specifically for housing. To access those dollars, again, the Hawk SOS pipeline. Okay, and so I didn't give that number. That number changes rapidly. It changes. Right now, we average about 90,000 to 100,000 a month for this, for the winter housing relief that we're going through right now. Once those dollars are up, we will move into what's available for the general, this general fund that gets split. It will then move to housing, or it is in housing rather, and housing funds will be pulled from that. So I hope I didn't confuse you too much, but I just wanted to give, because I realized that I updated this in a different way than has been expressed in the past. And always, if you have questions about funding and you're not sure what's going on, feel free to reach out to me, or you can email our BD staff email, and that goes to both Kara and I, and we can help you determine if we have funding available for your client situation. We have the SCIP funding that comes out of the Housing Bureau for Seniors office. Their application is here. They run the application and approval, and then that Barrier Busters just runs the check, kind of the process, the check process, but also requires that request. So right now we do have for our clients that are 60 and over, and when it's housing related, you can contact HBS and access this application here. And that we always have an arrangement with Ann Arbor Water Utility. So if you have clients that are in Ann Arbor with this as their utility service, you can put a request in at any time of the month. Any questions about funding? Okay. As this changes, when these Pittsfield funds run out, I will change and update and let everyone know. You can expect it's going to be tight each month. We are running, as of January right now, we are running under a little less money than we were last January. So we're still outreaching and seeing what we can do to find more funds available. All right, so I want to keep this one super brief, just on programming. And again, this is really for those that are accessing our funding. For those that signed up with our new portal last January, our MOU forms, I'm going to be sending those, I'm going to send a link out for you to fill that out again. So if you access our portal and you need, and then here's another one, if you need a portal refresher, because it's been a while, I'm also going to have a separate refresher on the portal. I'll have some available times, or at least one session, we'll see, in February. So you can look out for that. And then also, if you're putting a request in, just note for any of these high profile cases, such as the Saline Thorncrest residents and the Arbor One residents in Ypsi, if you're not familiar, go find out the article and it'll tell you all about it. But these are high profile, and we're really wanting to track how many of the folks that we've been able to support. So if you have someone, make sure in the request that you put that they are from the Thorncrest housing, Arbor One housing. Let us know that they're from that. And then that actually can open them up. They have right now, as of today, we have available funding specifically only for those that are experiencing this crisis in Thorncrest and Arbor One. So that's also another reason why it's important to mark that in the request, that this is where they're from. Any questions on this? Okay. Well, we've maximized our time, and it's been great having you all here. I hope that you're all staying warm. I'm going to go ahead and formally join the meeting, and then I will stick around on the call until everyone's gone, and I am available for questions outside of our meeting. So I wish everyone a good day and see you next month.